From the High Definition Production Center of Troy University's Broadcast and Digital Network at Troy, Alabama's International University, this is Troy TrojanVision News.
Hello and welcome to Troy TrojanVision News for April 23rd, 2018. I'm Chelsea Law.
I'm Nathaniel Rodriguez. Thank you for joining us this evening. On Saturday night, the Troy University Athletics Hall of Fame expanded by 8 members. Brianna Jones gives us a look at the newest class of inductees into the Hall of Fame.
If there's one thing you didn't know about Troy,
we at Troy have proven that straight out of here you can go to the NFL, you can go to Major League Baseball, you can go to the biggest businesses in the world. You can go anywhere you want to from Troy, Alabama.
It seems that Ash is right because him, along with 7 other former Trojans, were all inducted into the Hall of Fame on Saturday evening, and some of them shared how this accomplishment feels.
I mean, it's great. It's everything, that I always dreamed of and everything I always, expect of myself of coming here. I mean, it was great. It could have been even much greater. Couldn't think about all the touchdowns they called back or whatever. It could have been even much crazier. So, I could have been up for a Heisman if everything would have been all right.
This is a tremendous honor for all of us. We had a little get-together today during T-Day football, and, everybody, it's a time to tell stories and reminisce and, obviously thank the people that have helped us all.
During former head coach time spent here at Troy, he led the Trojans to 3 Sun Belt championships, also being named Coach of the Year twice. And he posted a record of 395 and 256. He reminisces on the time he spent as a Trojan.
I get to reflect quite a bit on not only the career, but the 13 years that we spent at Troy, which were a fantastic 13 years for myself and my family. Just tremendous times. And so when you sit back and you have time now, when you retire, you have time to reminisce and reflect a lot more. So that makes nights like tonight even more special.
Fans can now see the 8 new names displayed in Trojan Arena's main lobby. Brianna Jones, Troy TrojanVision News.
Once again, you can see the biographies of all the inductees, including past years, in the Hall of Fame located in the Trojan Arena Rotunda.
Troy University gives an author the Hall Waters Award every year, and Friday afternoon, the latest recipient was recognized at Troy University Stadium Club. Seth Hawk gives us a look at this year's recipient.
Friday afternoon, the newest recipient of the Hall Waters Award was given to Ace Atkins. Atkins is a New York Times best-selling author who has written over 20 novels in the crime fiction genre, and he's the son of the second most winningest Troy football coach, Billy Atkins. And according to Atkins, this award is the best homecoming he could have asked for.
Well, this is not only a nice honor for me, but also a very personal honor as well. I was actually born in Troy, and my father actually used to be the head coach here back in the 1960s and early 1970s, so it's kind of a homecoming of sorts for me.
Atkins didn't originally plan on becoming an author, but thanks to his job before he became an author, he had plenty of things to write about.
I used to be a reporter, and I was a reporter for many years. I used to cover the crime beat, and I used to have to go to murders and bank robberies and that kind of stuff. And I said, this is pretty good fodder for writing novels, and I love the South, and so kind of combining those two worlds of writing about the crime in the Deep South.
According to Atkins, there are some misconceptions about the life of an author, and it does not come without its challenges, and that includes having the motivation to work.
There are days that you don't want to do it, but you just have to suck it up and get your coffee and go to work. And some people think it's an easy job, but it's actually something you have to work at every day.
And for those that are looking for the next Ace Atkins crime fiction novels, his new work will be released in the coming months.
The next book comes out. I've got a book called Old Black Magic, and that book will be out on May 1st. And then I actually have a second book coming out this year called The Sinners, and that book will be out on July 17th.
Some of Atkins' family still lives in Troy to this day. Seth Hawk, Troy TrojanVision News.
If you would like to know more about Atkins or some of his work, you can go check out his website at www.aceatkins.com. The Environmental Club ended Earth Week by having a Wildlife Day.
Troy alumnus Tanner Steinbrook and his scaly friends spent an afternoon on the quad. Yolanda Allen has the story.
To end Earth Week, the Environmental Club invited Tanner Steinbrook and his wife to host reptiles on the quad.
My husband and I brought some of our reptile collection here today just to be able to teach some of the students and faculty about why we love reptiles so much.
There were many snakes that were presented at the event.
This is Mandela. She is a ball python. She's 10 years old. She's about as big as she'll get. She'll get a little bit bigger, but it won't be as noticeable. She's really nice. She's very docile. They normally sit and wait for their prey. They don't go after it. They'll let their prey come to them and then attack.
He is a Mexican black king snake, which is Lampropeltis gatula negrita. We do have king snakes here in our area that look fairly similar to this. We have eastern and speckled. They'll have a little bit more white patterning on them.
Snakes like Bellatrix and other snakes are very important to our environment.
Snakes do so much for our ecosystem that we're still only just now discovering. One, they keep down our rodent population, which can get wildly out of hand. Without the snakes here, our houses would be ran over with rats and mice. They also help keep in line lizard and bird populations as well.
Although the event was mainly about reptiles, the love for snakes was in the air.
I've been wanting to get one, but I can't have one in my apartment that I'm in right now.
I've always been a big lover of reptiles and snakes. My brother helped garner that when I was young. I worked as a snake handler at Alligator Alley in high school, and then I came to Troy University. I did all of my ecology studies here, got even more fascinated by them, and it's just kind of snowballed from there.
The Stainbrooks have their own reptile Facebook page called Medieval Serpents. Yolanda Allen, Troy, TrojanVision News.
Earth Day was first celebrated on April 22nd, 1970.
Now, the latest in Trojan sports on Troy TrojanVision News.
Good evening and welcome to your TrojanVision Sports. I'm Brianna Jones. Troy's run in the Sun Belt tournament and season both came to a close on Saturday afternoon as the Trojans fell 4-0 to top-seeded Georgia State in the quarterfinals. The Trojans ended their season with a 13-11 record. The returning Trojans will now wait to hear who will replace head coach Scott Kidd, who is leaving the team after the conclusion of the season. The women's tennis team had a similar fate over in the Peach State after earning a #1 seed for the first time in program history. The team ran into normal trouble for the Trojans with those Jaguars. The #4 team, South Alabama, defeated the Trojans in a semifinal matchup 4-1. Efelia Herlina, Nancy Karaki, Sine Ota, and Jiwon Yu all played their last games as Trojans in Saturday's semifinal loss. The Trojan softball team had to play 3 games on Sunday due to the interference of Mother Nature on Saturday. After splitting the first 2 games, the Trojans were able to get the series win against UT Arlington with a win in the 3rd game of the Sunday triple-header. Kaylee Hussey sparked the Trojan offense with a grand slam, the first of her career in her 6th home run of the season, in the top of the 3rd inning as Troy escaped with a narrow 8-7 win in Game 3. Erica Davis hit her 4th home run of the season, a 2-run shot in the 5th. Mississippi State will make the trip into Trojan territory for a midweek matchup on Wednesday. The Trojan baseball team's offense exploded in a pair of wins on Saturday to sweep its first Sun Belt series of the 2018 season. In Game 1, Troy clinched the series with a 13-10 win. A big 5-run 4th inning put Troy up 6-0, but the Trojans saw that lead turn into a 3-run deficit after the Red Wolves scored 9 runs in the bottom of the inning. However, a 6-run 5th would take the lead back for good. In Game 2, the Trojans reached a new season high with 22 hits in the game to win 12-9 overall. All 9 of Troy's starters hit safely in the game, and 8 of the 9 recorded multiple hits and scored at least 1 run. Head coach Mark Smart says even with difficult conditions, the team pulled through.
Second straight weekend, we've had to play a doubleheader on Saturday, which is a real challenge. And then Saturday's day, it was the longest day of the year. Both games took over 3 hours, so it was a real trying day, but our guys played great, and we came back 3-0 and had a great week. We went 5-0 last week. We had 2 midweek games, so anytime you can do that. I really like where our team's at. I look forward to moving forward into this week, coming off a nice 5-0 week.
The 5-game road trip concludes with a trip to face off an in-state foe, Alabama, at Sewell Thomas Stadium in Tuscaloosa Tuesday at 6 p.m. Trojan football fans got a sneak peek at what the 2018 Trojan squad may look like on Saturday as the Trojans wrapped up their spring with the annual T-Day game. Sarah Drake has all the highlights.
Troy football fans had their first opportunity to get a close look at what has been the main focus during spring practice, the quarterback battle, as the Trojans held their annual T-Day Saturday afternoon in Veterans Memorial Stadium. and head coach Neil Brown says he feels confident in both of them, but has not yet picked a starter.
Both quarterbacks had some high points and some low points. I think it's really evident that we've got a lot of work to do between now and at Boise, when Boise comes here at the quarterback position. But I feel confident that either Sawyer Smith or Caleb Barker is more than capable to lead us and put us in a position to win a conference championship.
The defense came out on top, defeating the offense 47-33, and Brown speaks on some of the defensive players that impressed him in Saturday's scrimmage.
I think the guy that stuck out as much as anybody all spring is Tyler Murray at the spear position. Thought he played extremely well. Darius Wesley had another good day. And then up front, we've had a number of guys, Jarvis Hayes, and a couple other guys. Carlton Marshall's a guy that you've heard me talk about a lot. I thought he had a good day.
And while the defense walked away with the win, there were some playmakers on the offense that stood out to Coach Brown.
Some guys on offense thought had good days. Travion Samuel was a guy that we were intentionally trying to get the ball to today. It's nice to see him have that big play. I think he's going to have a major role for us. I thought Dylan Bradshaw continued his high level of play this spring today. And DK Billingsley showed that down the road he's going to be a guy that can help us.
And if there was one word Coach Brown would use to describe the 2017 Sunbelt Freshman of the Year, Marcus Jones, it would be consistent.
Marcus, he's getting better. He's really been probably our most consistent. I know exactly what I'm getting out of him every single day. And there's trust built in there, and he's a kid that I trust. He shows up every day. He competes. He's practiced every day this spring, and he's getting better. And he's starting to take a leadership role. He's starting his competitive nature, his work ethic, starting to rub off on the rest of those guys in the back end.
The Trojans and Broncos will kick off the 2018 season in Veterans Memorial Stadium in 131 days. Sarah Drake, Troy, TrojanVision Sports.
The Trojans will open their season against Boise State on September 1st in Veterans Memorial Stadium.